The morning of my wedding, I woke up beside the man I cheated with. My fiancé, Ethan, was already texting me how excited he was to see me. "You're going to be the most beautiful bride in the world," he wrote. "I'm the luckiest man alive." Was still in someone else's shirt. My hair smelled like his cologne. My heart smelled like guilt. And I still walked down that aisle. But let me tell you how it got to this point. Let me tell you how I ruined the best thing that ever happened to me, and still convinced myself I deserved to wear white. I met Ethan during a messy time in my life. My last relationship had been toxic. The kind where silence was punishment, where every fight felt like war, and love was just a word someone used to keep you from leaving. Ethan was the opposite of that. He was calm, kind. He had this way of listening without waiting to talk, of looking at me like I was something precious, not something broken. He worked in architecture. His hands always had a bit of graphite on them, and his sleeves were always rolled up. He was the type of man who noticed things, how my eyes changed color depending on the light, how I picked at my sleeves when I was nervous, how I liked my tea too hot to drink right away. I fell hard. So did he. The first time he told me he loved me, I laughed from nerves and spilled wine on his shirt. He didn't flinch, just pulled me in closer, wine and all. And when I got sick with the flu 3 months into dating, he took 3 days off work just to hold a cold cloth to my forehead. He was the kind of man you build a life with. But that was the problem. I didn't know how to live in peace. Not really. I was used to intensity, chaos. Ethan was safe. And sometimes, my trauma told me that safe meant boring. The affair started 5 months before our wedding. At first, it wasn't anything. Just a man at the gym. His name was Damien. Tall, smirked a lot. Talked with that sort of confidence that either made you roll your eyes or lean in. I should have rolled my eyes. We kept bumping into each other. A look here, a smile there. A flirtatious comment that I'd pretend to ignore. Then one day he spotted me on the treadmill, walked over, and asked if I wanted a smoothie after. I almost said no. I should have said no. But I told myself it was just a drink, just a chat. Ethan wouldn't care. It wasn't cheating. Right? The smoothie turned into lunch. Lunch turned into texts. Texts turned into long conversations about things I didn't tell Ethan. My doubts, my fears. How sometimes I felt like I was playing a role I didn't earn. Damien listened differently. He didn't reassure me. He challenged me, teased me, made me feel sharp again, not just loved, but wanted. It was emotional cheating long before it became physical. The first time, it happened. Ethan was out of town visiting his parents. Damien came over with wine. We sat on the couch. I wore something casual, but not innocent. We were watching a movie, something forgettable. I couldn't tell you what it was, because I wasn't watching it. I was watching him. When he kissed me, I didn't pull away. I leaned in. I remember the sound of the glass tipping over, the wet stain on my carpet, his hands in my hair, my fingers on his belt. The sound of my phone vibrating with a message from Ethan. "Hope you're getting some rest tonight, love. Can't wait to come home to you." I read that message after, and I cried in the shower until my skin turned red. I told myself it was a one-time thing, but it wasn't. It never is. We saw each other again the next week, and the week after. I became someone I didn't recognize. Someone who lied about errands, made excuses, double-washed her laundry to hide perfume that wasn't hers. Ethan didn't suspect a thing. He was too busy planning our future. He brought home brochures for honeymoon spots: Italy, Greece, Thailand. He showed me pictures of the land he wanted us to build on one day. He picked out a ring I hadn't seen yet and proposed on a quiet evening, at home. Just the two of us. He cooked dinner, lit candles, got down on one knee. I cried, and I said yes, with Damien's fingerprints still bruising my skin. After the proposal, I cut Damien off, blocked him, deleted every message, burned the sweater he left in my car. I wanted to be good. I wanted to be worthy of the love Ethan gave me. For a while, I was. I poured myself into wedding planning, picked a dress, wrote my vows, smiled in every engagement, photo, like I wasn't made of secrets. But guilt doesn't fade. It festers. It eats at you at the most inconvenient times. When he's reading you a poem he wrote. When his mother hands you a necklace she wore at her own wedding. When your little cousin asks if you're excited to be Mrs. Carter. I started having nightmares, waking up gasping, hearing Damien's voice in my dreams. Feeling Ethan's arms around me in reality, I thought maybe if I confessed, I could be free. But I was too much of a coward. Then came the bachelorette party. It was just supposed to be dinner and drinks with my closest friends. My maid of honor, Sophie, had planned everything. Nothing wild, just a rooftop dinner downtown and then a suite at the W Hotel to crash in. Something classy, safe. One last night as a single woman, even though I hadn't felt single since the day I met Ethan. But Damien was there, not as a guest, not invited, just there. The rooftop restaurant wasn't private. It was trendy, open to the public, crowded with people in cocktail dresses and loud suits. When I saw him across the bar, I thought I was imagining him. My stomach dropped so fast I nearly knocked over my wine. He looked different, sharper, more self-assured. That same infuriating smirk tugging at his mouth like he knew I'd react this way. I avoided eye contact. Pretended I didn't see him, but when I went to the restroom 20 minutes later, he was waiting outside the hallway. He smiled like it was some cosmic joke, like fate had planned this reunion. "Didn't know you were getting married," he said. "Congratulations, I guess." I told him to leave. He didn't. He said he missed me, that I owed him a real goodbye, that I'd ghosted him like he never meant anything. And maybe I didn't want to admit it, but he still lived in my head. I hated how calm he was, how sure, how right. He wasn't even angry, just smug. He knew me too well, knew how to speak to the part of me I kept hidden, even from myself. I told myself I was just being polite, letting him get his last words in so he'd go. But we kept talking. 15 minutes, then 30. I didn't notice how long I'd been gone until Sophie came, looking for me. She gave me a strange look, like she sensed something off. I brushed it off, said I ran into someone I used to know. The night continued, but I couldn't focus. Not with Damien still lingering at the bar. Not with my chest aching from the guilt and confusion swirling beneath every laugh, every toast. At about 1 a.m., after the girls had all gone back up to the suite, I took the elevator down to the lobby to get some air. He was outside, waiting. We didn't say much. We didn't need to. We ended up in his hotel room across the street. He'd been in town for a client meeting, he said. Coincidence. Maybe. Maybe not. I told myself I wasn't going to stay long. That I just wanted closure. That I needed to make sure I didn't feel anything anymore. But closure is a lie we tell ourselves to excuse what we already know we're going to do. It started with a kiss, and then the floodgates opened. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't sweet. It was frantic, angry, desperate. I wasn't even fully sober, but I was aware, painfully, sharply aware, of every second, of how wrong it was, of how alive I felt in the wrongness. I remember gripping the edge of the hotel mattress like it could anchor me to something honest. I remember thinking of Ethan in the middle of it, and not stopping. And that is what haunts me the most. I didn't fall asleep. I just laid there, still in his shirt. Mascara dried beneath my eyes, my body sore with shame. My phone filled with texts from Sophie from last night. I don't remember how I convinced her afterwards. At 6:17 a.m., my phone buzzed. This time, it was Ethan. "Morning, love. Your dress ready? I bet you're glowing. I can't wait to see you." Today's the day. My fingers shook as I read it. The sunlight was creeping in through the blinds. I could still smell Damien's cologne on my skin. I had less than 4 hours before my makeup appointment, 5 before the ceremony. I stared at that text until my screen went black. Then I got up, showered in scalding water, and scrubbed every inch of myself like I could peel the mistake off my skin. I returned to the bridal suite with coffee for the girls and a fake smile on my face. And I walked down that aisle like I hadn't just burned my vows before even speaking. Them. I don't remember the ceremony. People say I looked radiant, that Ethan cried when he saw me. I felt like a ghost. I kept waiting for someone to stand up and say something, for Damien to walk in, for Ethan to find the messages I thought I deleted. But the universe gave me silence. A second chance. It's been 3 years. I haven't spoken to Damien since that night. Ethan still doesn't know. We have a little girl now. She has his eyes, his laugh, his heart. And some nights, I look at them both and want to scream the truth just to get it out of me. But I don't. Because saying it out loud won't undo it. It won't make me pure again. It won't give him back the woman he thinks he married. I love my husband. I truly, deeply love him. But I also betrayed him in the most unforgivable way. And the worst part? He still looks at me like I'm the best thing that ever happened to him. Like I could never lie. Like I could never cheat. I don't deserve his love. I don't deserve my family. But I let him give me all of it anyway.